This video update brought to you by RaceDayScore.com, daily fantasy NHRA drag racing.
We're joined in the media center by current #1 qualifier in pro stock motorcycle, Eddie Krawiec, 6.808 miles or seconds at 197.71 miles per hour. He was the #1 qualifier here in 2012. The start of the pro stock motorcycle season is here. Is that a good way to kind of kick off 2016's campaign?
Sure, absolutely. Anytime you can come off the trailer and make a great run like that, you know, it just sets the pace for the season is the way I look at it. Not just the event, the whole season, you know, because that's what's all in front of you. You know, we tested well, ran some pretty good numbers. We sort of worked on our tune-up stuff over the winter. That was what we were very fortunate about this coming season. We didn't have a whole lot of rule changes, matter of fact, none, and didn't really have any, you know, fuel or any other things to be curveballs in your tune-up. So it was time to refine and start picking away at it and sort of understand how the engine works with all the fuel and everything that has been thrown at us in past years. So it was a lot of dyno time. Andrew and Matt and everybody back at the shop made a lot of new parts and pieces for the bikes, and I think we made somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 dyno pulls. So it's definitely nice when your work pays off.
Is the 200 mile per hour pretty reasonable with all the water that's in the air and the humidity?
With these conditions that we have today, definitely not right now. Now, what's rolling in for Sunday? There's a good possibility things can dry out a little more. I think, not that we're looking at that or looking at the weather, but, you know, it's somewhere in the high 50s to low 60s is what they're saying around noon come Sunday. So when you look at that, Gainesville, you can have a tailwind pop up at any second. You know, we've seen 20-mile-an-hour tailwinds here. We definitely need a tailwind. We're not going to do it naturally aspirated, so you need Mother Nature's help. So if we can get all the right conditions, absolutely, I would say it's totally possible, because when you look at when we were going 4 years ago when I went 199 out here, and you look at where we are now, I believe we are better than we were then. The numbers now, I think, show it, because when you look, we're consistently going 197, 198 at these tracks where we used to go 195. So I think the speed's there. We just need that little bit of help. I'd love to be the guy to do it.
That tailwind, is it at a point where you guys have been chasing this 200, you'll take whatever you can get at this point?
To be honest, I don't care how it is. If there's seagulls on my shoulder, if, you know, eagles on my shoulder, let's just say that, pulling me, you know, I'm good with it. You know, I did it in testing, and that was sort of the shot heard around the world, was that 200.08 in Valdosta. And when I did that, I'd say it was the shot heard around the world. I got more texts, phone calls, everything from that. So I like to say whoever does it, if it's anybody but me, I'm going to say congratulations on doing it second. But no, it's definitely, it's one of those tasks that it's the last milestone of the class. You know, we're never going to have a 5-second pro stock motorcycle unless we go to 1,000 foot. You know, so the way that I look at it is it's the one and only milestone, and sure, we'd love to do it. You know, I think anybody in the pits would tell you that they'd love to do it. So I'd like to be that one.
Yeah.
I guess what could you do to the motorcycle to not have to worry about the tailwind to get that 200 miles an hour?
I put a little nitrous on it and we got it. No, but unfortunately that's not in our cards or our rules. But you know, it's about horsepower. You know, that's obviously the class that we're racing in. And the hardest thing now is we've sort of gone through the refining stages of our engines. Everybody, when you look at the inline 4 platform out here, it's been raced for 30 years. You look at both V-twin models, although ours is a relatively, what I'd like to say, newer combination based on the rule changes 2 years ago, we still have refined it. We're not going to find 5s and 10s of horsepower anymore. We're looking for 1s and 2s. 3 is amazing when you find 3. But so 1s and 2s, and I think realistically to do it naturally aspirated without Mother Nature's help, you're probably looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 12, 13 horsepower. And sometimes when you only come by 2 or 3 a year, that could take a while. You know, so aerodynamically, the Suzukis, in my opinion, have the ultimate advantage. They have the horsepower. They can run well. Jerry's displayed that. Jimmy Underdog on 197 here today has displayed it. So they have the power. It's there. It's just a matter of getting in the right conditions.
And as far as today is concerned, did you get everything out of both runs that you hoped you would, given all the conditions?
My first run was really good. The only place that I would say we left a little on the table was probably in the 60-foot. I went 106, low 106, and that last run we sort of swapped. It went 105. It got a little more humid, and water grains went up. Track conditions weren't optimum that last session. I was spinning a little bit there from half track on. It's definitely not optimum, so anytime you do that, that's why you saw my speed went away. I think in the grand scheme of things, when you look at it, low 80 laps out here, any conditions is definitely making good runs.
Does the fan have any clue what you mean when you say spinning?
Well, that's probably, if you're in the grandstands, actually, that session, you can really hear it. You can hear a motorcycle because you'll hear the engine spikes. And when the engine varies in 200 or 300 RPM spikes going down, you can generally hear it. There were a few people that spun really bad, and a lot of it is the battle. NHRA does the best that they can to give us the best track, and weather conditions here has been the biggest challenge. Obviously, it rained gallons yesterday, and today it rained early on in the day. So I think what they're giving us is a great racetrack. Is it the best? No, because you're battling other conditions. So we have to work with the conditions that we're given, and they weren't ideal that last session. First session, they were great. They were very good. You had the sun. You had a lot of things in your favor. So, my bike spun the tire a little bit on that last session. I think the track could have been a little better, but, everybody went down the same racetrack.